Hey everyone, this is Nico. I'm back with another video about the DJI Neo. As you can see there in the left part of your screen, that's the Ray-Ban Meta footage. I'll be flying the DJI Neo around this park in Miami Beach, just showcasing you guys everything that this little drone can do. This is going to be a one-take video. All of the settings are automated, 4K, 30 frames per second. I'll be flying the DJI Neo in sport mode, trying to show you guys how versatile and exploratory this drone is, especially the fact that you have full control over the gimbal. As you can see here, I'm panning down off there in the distance. That's the city of Miami. We're on Miami Beach. And then I'll be showing you guys the surrounding scenery. This drone is just super cool, super fun to fly. It's super tiny, only about 130 grams. Not super great in the wind, but luckily today, wind is only about 5 or 10 miles per hour. As you can see there in the distance, that's the Atlantic Ocean, Miami Beach. Right now we're on about 20th Street in Miami Beach, so technically still South Beach, but basically on the fence of where South Beach and Mid Beach connect. Here I'm panning down at the park. So like I mentioned, this is called Soundscape Park. Really unique park in Miami Beach. A lot of cool vegetation, a lot of nice palm trees, and they play a lot of different music and sounds. That's why it's called Soundscape Park. But really cool little area to fly. Everybody's really friendly. You could fly a drone here, no problem. Just have to check the airspace. I like flying these little drones because they're not too loud, and they're just really easy to fly, and you don't have to worry about damaging anything. You could hit small little gaps. It's just a ton of fun. So this is a one take flight. Like I mentioned, it's going to be about 8 or 9 minutes. So in sport mode, when the drone is at 100%, you probably get anywhere from, I would call it 10 to 15 minutes, kind of just depending on how you're flying. But one cool thing I like about the DJI Neo is that if you have the DJI RC2, you can connect it to this very high-end remote controller and just switch back and forth between your other DJI drones like the DJI Mavic 3 or the Air 3. And it's just great to have this little drone in your pocket. And if you're doing some other videography work and you're just, running out of ideas or just a little bit bored, the Neo for me feels like a kind of more of a hobby drone where you just rip it out of the bag. You don't feel like flying a big drone, so you just take the little guy and just, rip it around. As you can see here, I'm flying pretty fast. I have the drone angle or the gimbal angle panned up a little bit. Later on in the video, I'll get a little bit more aggressive in terms of flying, hitting little gaps, and kind of just really pushing this drone to the limit. So I've mentioned in previous videos about the DJI Neo about how I think it's just a great explorer drone, and overall just a really good drone to learn the basic movements of a DJI drone. So on the left finger where you do the pan up and pan down on the gimbal, you could really get great at learning these dynamic cinematic shots. So in this video, I want you to pay attention to not only my aggressive flying, but when I'm flying, I'm using multiple different angles to get the shot that I want. So I'm flying to the right, I'm flying forward, or I'm flying up, and then I'm also using the gimbal at the same time. So that's what creates these, really unique and dynamic shots where you could fly forward and pan down and to the side as well. So the fact that this drone is only 130 grams, the fact that it has prop guards, the fact that it connects to my same remote that I use to fly the DJI Air 3 is just really unique and very convenient when you have limited availability in your drone bag but still want to fly. Now the camera isn't that great on the DJI Neo. I'm not using any UV or ND filters. This is the drone fresh out of the box that you'll be able to see later on in this video when I use the Ray-Ban Meta footage and you're able to see the drone. So it's just super unique to be able to fly. Once you get up over these trees, it gets a little bit more windy and the drone becomes a little bit stable. But I'll show you here how I kind of push it to the limits. I love the fact that you could like pan down like this and basically shoot gaps. So just a really cool drone. A lot of other FPV drones that I fly, like the DJI RC Cinelog 20, or just other, say, micro whoops or cine whoops or tiny whoops, they don't have this GPS lock. I know that you could spend more money, get a GPS module, do all these fancy tricks in beta flight and whatnot, but the fact that, the Neo flies like a regular DJI drone, I could just put down the remote control if I want and it'll hover there, just makes it really unique. So I know that when I'm flying this drone, when I use the right stick forward, I know it's going to go a certain amount in space. It has the GPS lock. It's not going to like manually drift with the wind or do anything crazy. So I like flying the DJI Neo in parks like this because I don't have to worry about, the wind and, oh, I'm trying to hit this gap. I have to be like extremely precise. With the DJI Neo, I know that I have control over the gimbal. So if I get in a sticky situation with direct line of sight, I could also use the drone, just kind of have it hover, pan right, pan left, use the gimbal to look up and down. That matters a lot to me, especially in, denser areas where there's other people and you want to be safe, you want to follow the FAA rules. The fact that this drone is so light, it has a GPS lock. It makes a big deal when you're trying to fly safe or you're just trying to, not cause any problems. So I've been flying for about 7 minutes now. Visibility is really good today. You could tell based off of the shadows when I'm flying into direct sunlight and when I'm not. The DJI Neo doesn't do really well with contrast. I know the video quality is 4K 30 frames, but the sensor is very small and I'm not using any type of filters or anything like that. So here I am kind of just ripping above the tree line over there. That's Lincoln Road, about 15th, 16th Street in Miami Beach, going east and west. Really cool really cool area for restaurants and shops. And then this park is kind of just nestled right along, I believe it's Washington Avenue on Miami Beach, and kind of parallel with the Venetian Causeway as it goes over. So in a fun area of South Beach. These parks are really, really nice. Everybody's really friendly. I love the trees, as you saw there. I just bumped into one. It's fun hitting these gaps. The prop guards on the DJI Neo make it very safe to just kind of bump into things randomly. You don't have to worry about the drone flipping over unless it gets caught in a tree branch or something. But I hope throughout this video you guys were able to see just the dynamic shots. I love flying low here, and then as you can see here, I'm just ripping around this one little branch. These movements are very important to perfect before you start flying, the Mini 4, the DJI Air 3, other types of drones, because your footage is just going to look bad if you're not, used to making these dynamic movements. When I'm flying in sport mode, so my rates are a little bit jerky, but I like that because I'm not necessarily trying to get a specific cinematic shot. I just want to have a little bit more power, finesse, and speed to the drone. So as you saw there, I kind of got a little aggressive, backed off a little bit from the tree branch. Now it's really fun flying like this because the controller screen is very, very bright. So I feel really confident. I would feel a little bit more confident if I got the DJI goggles and connected them to the Neo, which I believe you're able to do, even with the DJI RC2. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure you could connect them to those cheaper pair of goggles that DJI released. So as you can see there, I'm hitting a bunch of gaps, kind of just flying around the tree. Wind's picking up a little bit, panning down. And this is exactly what I mean about the DJI Neo being a good explorer drone and being better than some of the regular FPV drones, because you can't really pan around like this unless you attach these different modules and use two pilots and all this stuff, which I don't really have access to as of right now. So it's just fun being able to, go out, get content with the Mavic, or get content with the Air 3, and then not have to bring an extra controller, just fit this tiny drone that honestly fits in your pocket, basically takes no space in your bag. You get a couple extra batteries for it, and then all you have to do is switch the mode on the controller, connect it to the Neo, and bam, you're ready to fly. So that's one of the reasons I stopped bringing a lot of my FPV drones, because, you have to bring batteries, you have to bring all this other stuff, and it just makes it annoying. So, but here I am landing. I'm about 11 minutes in, getting a low battery warning. I think I started around 90-some%. So, you get a decent amount of flight time, really fun. I was filming this around when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, so go Eagles. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully see you in another video.